Good afternoon, Sunday afternoon with the likes of Ryan Giggs and Eric Cantona to entertain us. Not bad. Welcome to Bramall Lane for Sheffield United against Manchester United. A repeat of last year's fifth round tie, when of course the Sheffield club won here, creating one of the big cup upsets of that season. Conditions perfect for the match this afternoon, and with us Alan and Jimmy, hoping to enjoy it with us as well, of course. And Manchester aren't going to slip up this year, are they?
I don't think so. I don't think the game is a foregone conclusion, but Manchester United are holding all the aces. They've scored 71 goals this season. Sheffield United have got 21 goals. They've got the better players individually and collectively. They've got 3 or 4 players that can win a game their own. If they perform well, I fully expect them to win.
Jim, you're back in the managerial chair. You're the boss of Sheffield United for the day. How would you convince your team that they could get a result?
It's a lovely afternoon until then. No, I would say that they have a different competition. The legacy of the last few weeks of misery and not scoring, you know, evaporates today. They've got a clean sheet of paper. If it were the league, I would think there was no chance that Sheffield United could win the match. But in the cup, who cares? As long as they stay in the Premier League somehow at the end of the season, it doesn't matter if they don't get to Wembley. So today's like a holiday for them, and it will close the gap as the underdogs between them and United, and might bring back the lost confidence that has been recently from their supporters.
They can reduce the fear element for them, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
In a sense. Well, if we have as much as last year's, we're in for a thriller once again. And remember, we've got the 4th round draw live after the game. But now let's join Trevor Brooking and John Monson.
Thanks very much, Desmond. Yes, it's 3rd round time again. And going back to that fifth round tie that you mentioned last season when Sheffield United won here, the player who influenced it most of all for me was Glyn Hodges. He made one and scored one in that 2-1 victory. And I think when we see the Sheffield United lineup today, you'll see that he'll have licence to strike again from midfield, because there aren't too many players numbered 1 to 11 in there, are there? In fact, there's only one out-and-out striker, Justin Flo, number 12. And I would imagine, Trevor Brooking, that means there could be a specific role as well for number 26, Jamie Hoyland.
Yes, I would think so. He's been playing as a central defender, but this afternoon Gage has been brought in to watch Chelsea. Beasley's moved into central defence, and I would have thought Hoyland, I mean, we've got him in front of the back four there, but it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't do a similar job on Eric Cantona as Chris Fairclough did when Leeds went to Old Trafford, and so I would think he might be man-to-man marking Cantona.
Now, Manchester United make one change from the team that drew 3-3 at Liverpool, because Mark Hughes is back after a heel injury. They're still without Lee Sharp. Hughes for McClare is the only change. Ryan Giggs then, Trevor, presumably will move back to the left-hand side.
Yeah, not too many worries about that formation. Alex Ferguson, I'm sure, pleased. The normal balance of his side. If Sheffield United do fill up the midfield, it'd be very important Giggs down the left and Canchelsis down the right. Do give them the width and also try and get behind the Sheffield defence and get the crosses in from there. Of course, they've come here and won 3-0 already this season. That's probably why Sheffield are so concerned defensively.
Now, is there going to be a virtuoso display today from the Frenchman? Eric Cantona missed that match last season here. He was away with the French squad preparing for a World Cup tie. And if anybody needs convincing about his value to Manchester United, just consider that on Tuesday night he played his 50th match for the club at Liverpool, and he's been on the losing side just twice. And there are 2 of his fans in the crowd at least, and in those 50 games he's scored 23 goals. Referee today, Gerald Ashby from Worcester, seen there with his 2 linesmen, John Hilditch from Stoke, the darker of the 2, and Dennis Madgwick from Aylesbury. And Steve Bruce on the left, the captain of Manchester United, shaken off a reported hamstring strain. And on the right there, Carl Bradshaw, number 17 for Sheffield United. He's their new captain. And the manager, whose team are now quoted at 4-1 favourites for the FA Cup and 10-1 for the treble of Championship, FA Cup and Coca-Cola Cup. That's how the bookmakers see Manchester United's chances of dominating the second half of this season. Whether they'll dominate this cup tie, we await with interest. The home fans who've got their own overseas import to rejoice in, Justin Flo. And there's quite an atmosphere again inside Bramall Lane, as there usually is for a big game. A ground placed very much on the edge of the city centre. A lot of history here and tradition. And the FA Cup third round match starts with Sheffield United in the stripes, playing from left to right, and Manchester United wearing the hard shirts of yellow and green, which in fact they wore here last season, and it wasn't particularly lucky for them anyway. We'll see what happens today. There's Kamara with a stinging tackle early on, and Hodges now, and it does look as if Flew is going to be the only man up front, the number 12, bandaged wrist, and the others to come from midfield. Before Giggs could push it back to Irwin. Giggs was the scorer here last year. He put Manchester United in front before Sheffield turned the game round. Jamie Hoyland. This is Beasley. Kamara. Headed by Irwin, Bradshaw, Pallister. Oh, and Hodges got well forward there. And the corner forced off Bruce, for which Hoyland, Beasley and Tuttle come up. In fact, one or two of them can stay forward now. Kamara's right in there, and Beasley has the shot. So, what do you make of these formations after a couple of minutes?
Well, we wonder whether Jamie Hoyland, as I say, playing in that holding job in midfield, will pick up Cantona, but Cantona sort of floated around towards the right-hand side, and Hoyland was quite happy just to sit in front of the back four, so they're definitely just filling up that midfield area and going to make it very difficult for Manchester to get the sort of time and space to pass the ball as we know they can.
Yes, it'll be a hustling job as far as Sheffield are concerned here, to deny Manchester United's skilled players the space. There's a long ball from Mitch Ward. It came off Dennis Irwin, corner again. What's happening from these is that Hoyland's going right on the line, and Beasley and Tuttle with Flew are waiting to come in from behind him. And there's Tuttle, didn't make it. And Manchester United can break out. No, they can't. Back by Bradshaw. Number 11, Mitch Ward. Not really away. Hodges. Good ball again. Ward. Hoyland still in there for Sheffield.
A good start by the home team. Mitch Ward's had a lot of the ball here on the right-hand flank. Dane Whitehouse plays on the left, and I'm sure they've been instructed to get in the early crosses as quickly as possible. Flo, of course, is dangerous in the air, and it will be Glyn Hodges more than anyone who will be joining him as the second striker.
Yeah, he's got a lovely left foot, Hodges. He just pushed a ball out to the right wing then, and they can't afford, Manchester United, to let him have too much of it in the midfield. There he is again, finding Flew. Referee says play on the first time. Kanchelskis then on the ball. Forward by Bruce, offside Hughes. Manchester United beaten only twice this season, at Chelsea in the league and at Stoke in the first leg of a Coca-Cola tie. And some 23 games since then. This is for Flew. Didn't quite get his shot in. Can it clear it? Not really. And the referee must sort this out. Real scramble in there, and Chris Kamara's in the centre of it, and I think Peter Schmeichel on the receiving end there for a moment. And tempers being lost when the ball got trapped between 2 or 3 players. And Jamie Hoyland has a word as he leaves the scene. Mr. Ashby seems prepared to let them sort it out themselves there. There was a handball in there somewhere, which is what caused the trouble. Justine Flew, in fact. Well, Trevor, what do you make of all that?
Well, it did catch the hand of Gary Pallister. They both went up. I don't think it was a penalty, quite frankly, but it was a very unseemly mess after that, with too many players becoming involved, and it didn't allow the referee to pinpoint who the actual problem originated from. But Chris Kamara was the one who was in the thick of it.
And that shot was by Hodges. The referee decided there just to let them break up and calm down. He was, I think, the referee that sent off Carlton Palmer on the first day of the season at Liverpool, wasn't he, Gerald Ashby? Anyway, there was no need for a card there, he decided. And on we go. So a bit of a hurly-burly start to what was always going to be a hectic cup tie. Manchester United have got players running forward. Giggs is one of them. Irwin. Keane was well in there too. This is Kamara. Hodges, Whitehouse outside him. And Flew wants it played this side. So too does Mitch Ward. Whitehouse with the cross. Away by Bruce and by Parker. Goal kick.
Good counter-attack from Sheffield, though again on this occasion it was Whitehouse, but the 2 flank players, Ward and Whitehouse, have broken very well and are looking to get in those early crosses. And at the moment Sheffield United quite happy, if they lose possession, to just drop back to the halfway line and not allow Manchester United to counter-attack on them.
We're in the 8th minute. I don't think Cantona's touched the ball yet, has he? Here's Giggs. Oh, that's a good touch to Cantona. He has now, and he's got a free kick. And David Tuttle being called to the referee. Jamie Hoyland protesting, and Kamara. But Tuttle caught Cantona, and this is going to be a yellow card. First time the Frenchman's got a glimpse of the game. It's a free kick then, taken quickly to Irwin. Bruce is forward here in the penalty area. This is Giggs. Justine Flew was flagged offside there. This is Bruce. Ince making a forward run left to right. Kanchelskis down the line as well. Here's Ince. Hughes in the middle, so is Giggs. It was Beasley who went across. And here's Cantona.
Not a typical Cantona ball, that was it, but he's going to have to go very deep and wide on occasions to find space, because Sheffield United haven't been called out in the league, certainly very aware now of the strengths of United and are making sure that they're not going to be caught outnumbered.
Hoyland.
There's only flow in the actual home side's half. I mean, they're just saying, we'll let you just come to the halfway line and then we'll come into the play. They just won't. They're so worried about United getting behind them, attacking. They're just sitting back and letting the actual Manchester United back four have it. And I think Pallister and Bruce and the two fullbacks are going to have to carry it out and commit people from midfield.
That's Parker. Cantona beaten by Beasley. Bruce on Whitehouse, free kick. David Tuttle staying forward for the throw. Kanchelskis hoping to get a run on that, but not much doing at the moment for attackers. Roy Keane's made a run now from midfield and he wasn't flagged offside, but the pace on the ball, too much. Came off Pallister. Giggs. Ince and Hoyland. Flew. Back by Hoyland. This is Hodges. Could be dangerous. Suggesting that Schmeichel took too many steps there, Trevor.
Well, I think they're probably right, because he actually caught the ball in the 6-yard box and he just stopped himself going out of the 18-yard box and got to have a pretty long stride.
Hughes almost getting in at the back there, behind Tuttle. This is Hoyland, he's lost it. Giggs, Cantona. Quarter-hour mark. Foul against Hughes. Beasley. Keane. Beasley. Parker.
Well, in a minute we might get a couple of passes strung together, because the opening quarter have now been very scrappy, hasn't it? And I suppose that from Sheffield United's point of view is good, because it means that Manchester are being hurried into giving the ball away themselves.
Flo's coming in on this. Schmeichel. Oh, Kamara now. Whistle's gone. I think the referee must have penalised Justin Flo on the original jump there on Peter Schmeichel. One or two people out of their seats, but the excitement was quickly abated. Pretty certain Mr. Ashby decided that the challenge by the number 12 was illegal. Schmeichel came out to punch clear. Oh, look at the arm. It seems to go right in the goalkeeper's midriff. Kamara over the bar anyway. And the referee now wants the old ball back. A new one had been thrown on. But as you were saying, it's an itsy-bitsy sort of game, isn't it? All bits and pieces, which will suit Sheffield United better than Manchester United. Any interruption will disturb the flow of it and prevent the champions and FA Cup favourites from threading their game together. It's a contrast in styles, I suppose you could say. Flags up again, offside.
In these situations, I mean, Manchester have just got to work just as hard as Sheffield during this stage, and usually in games such as that, it's the last half an hour when the space begins to develop. Manchester have got to match Sheffield during that first hour.
Yes, it's Kamara and Ince tangling again. That was always going to be some contest. And it may well develop as the game goes on. It's a free kick to Manchester United.
I'd have liked to have known what was being said there, John.
I don't think we're going to find out. This is Irwin. No, it's not, it's Giggs. Oh, and Bruce. No, he couldn't make contact. Pallister's header back across. Two central defenders causing a bit of havoc up there. Forward by Parker. Hughes flags up. That flag was up there. It was a shot by Keane in the end. Usually after about 20 minutes of a match you get some idea of the shape and pattern of it. I honestly can't find one here.
No, I thought actually Gary Pallister might have had a header from the free kick just before that. Himself, he headed it back across the goal and it just went behind Steve Bruce, but he did find a bit of space and looked as if he could have headed it for goal. He might have been a bit surprised himself that he almost had a free header.
Well, Dane Whitehouse has now come across to the right-hand side for Sheffield. Mitch Ward has gone across to the left. Two flank men swapping. Irwin. Ince. Keane goes in. Here's Whitehouse, left-footed player, but operating on this side for the moment. This is Giggs. Cantona, Keane in support here. Roy Keane. Hughes. And the brakes on. Possibly for Ward. It's Flew on the far side, but the pass isn't good enough.
It was definitely Manchester's best attack, and it originated right by Giggs getting the ball wide, and that's what I think they've got to use, either Giggs or Chelsea. But he gave them a bit of width, made progress, and they played the ball then in through the middle, and it was Keane who nearly got in eventually.
Oh, look at that from Cantona. Kanchelskis, Hughes, it's square. Great chance, but the pass a little bit ahead of him. Giggs is in position too here, still Hughes.
There's that man, he hasn't really had a chance, or a yard or two of space, has suddenly conjured up a magnificent slide rule pass. Look at that, taking 3 defenders out. And if Kanchelski's ball just been a bit softer, Hughes would have got in on it. Couldn't quite retrieve it then, and Sheffield managed to scramble it away. 2 good attacks from Manchester now.
Yes, they've got to earn the right to play today, the champions, and last couple of minutes suggest they may just be settling into some sort of rhythm. Cantona out on that right wing before he delivered that pass, brought the ball under control quite superbly. Oh, Hughes and Kamara, oh, and there was a bit of referee right on the spot to calm it down. Ince. Flew. Battling hard with Bruce. Ward appeals for handball at the free kick. Somebody's sent him into the referee from behind his back, and I'm not so sure it's not Tuttle again, or is it Hughes? It's Mark Hughes. The minute that decision was made, the referee heard something said from behind him. He turned round, and Mark Hughes, whatever he said, has got the yellow card.
I'm not sure if it was even for what he said. I think he let play the advantage, and it was the incident involving Kamara when he clattered Mark Hughes, and Mark Hughes sort of trod over him as he was still trying to get up, and Kamara then chased him. I think the referee saw it, waited till an end in play, and then decided to book him for it.
Well, it's a free kick now to Sheffield United. Taken by Ward, in they go. And Joni Hoyland and Justin Flew both taking the defenders away, and
I think you see it, just got his hand to it there, Flo. It was going to go beyond him. The referee quite rightly spotted it. I mean, it's one of those games where he's got to have eyes all over the place, because there's quite a few little confrontations going on all over the pitch.
this is Ward. Offside flag was up as Whitehouse came in. Kanchelskis, Cantona. This is Ince. Giggs. Hoyland's challenge on again towards Irwin from Hughes. Just over halfway through the first half here at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United 0, Manchester United 0. Keane makes the forward run, covered by Beasley. Hodges. Gage. Back again to Hodges. Not sure Irwin had to conceal it corner there, but didn't get much of a shot, so it is. Schmeichel's got to come through quite a crowd there as they press in on him. Kamara. Well, there were 2 fouls there. The first one, both keen on Kamara, was the first one, and the referee's given the free kick. Hodges takes it quickly. There's the header as Whitehouse came in from the left-hand side from Hodges' kick, and Manchester United nearly caught out.
Well, he's so good with free kicks, Glyn Hodges. It was one of those at the other end from a similar position that brought their equaliser from Hoyland last year, and certainly he's got a very cultured left foot, and then you think if Sheffield are going to get anything from this game, he will be the one player that could open up the Manchester defence.
Parker. This is Kanchelskis. Parker outside him. They've got 3 in the middle. Cantona, Hughes and Giggs. Over the head of Hughes. Well, you might think the World Cup's a million miles away watching a game like this, but there are quite a few players who are going to be in it. Kelly, the goalkeeper there, got a good chance of going as number 2 with the Irish party. And he's looking for the Norway centre-forward Flew, who wins it in the air. And off Tuttle, Hughes tries to get through, Beasley covers. Pallister. Offside, only just inside the half, but flag was up.
Great throw out though from Schmeichel to Hughes, and it was only just about a foot away from getting Hughes clean through, and fortunately Tuttle got the first header, and then Beasley managed to get back.
That's Bradshaw. Gage, brought back into the side at left back today. Kevin Gage, formerly of Wimbledon and Aston Villa. Irwin's header. Now Giggs. Cantona starts to make a run. The ball to find him only to Gage. And now Beasley. Hoyland plays it forward. Hodges, Whitehouse, Kamara. It's a good move by Sheffield United. 5 or 6 passes. Ward. But Giggs tries to find Keane. Foot in by Bradshaw. Well, the offence was surely further back than that. Irwin's header out. Hoyland now. Scored in the match last year, Hoyland, for Sheffield United. Half an hour gone at Bramall Lane. And the rugged determination of Sheffield United smothers the sort of football that Manchester United ideally might want to play. But that's not a criticism, because Sheffield's game in its own way can be just as effective. This is Ince. Now Hughes. Parker. Offside flag up. Flow's header. Forward by Bruce. Hughes.
Wanting,
did he want Schmeichel to come? Well, the goalkeeper's had a few things to say about that. Tuttle's made his way forward again. Gage. In comes Ward here, volleyed away by Pallister. Now Manchester United 3 on 3, 4 on 4. Cantona, good running from the midfield by Giggs. Still Giggs. Can he find Hughes? No. The pass out is poor though. Kanchelskis.
We just saw a glimmer there, the danger if Sheffield haven't attacked themselves and it breaks down, because Manchester suddenly found that they had an even number of attackers against defenders, and that's when they looked dangerous. And I'm sure Dave Bassett has made it very aware to his side that he doesn't want his side in that situation.
It was Giggs who really saw the way to go, but Gage just caught up with him and then he couldn't reach Hughes. For Flo.
It's going to be very hard for Sheffield to score in general play, because Flo is left alone so much, and unless Whitehouse or Ward from out wide or Hodges from the middle can join him, but they're finding it difficult because they're wanting to get back to defence. So you feel Sheffield's chances of scoring always going to be better on the free kicks or a set piece, long throw or something such as that.
Giggs. Hodges wants it played through now, but he paused and then the chance was gone. Alex Ferguson watching as Giggs now tucks it into Hughes, and offside, flag was up. Not sure what Alex Ferguson was thinking there, Trevor. Any ideas?
Well, he's probably not enjoying how his side is being hurried into mistakes. But I was sure once he saw the team sheet and seeing how Sheffield were always going to play with an isolated striker, he knew it was going to be very difficult to break them down. And as I say, they've got to earn that time and space, and gradually, once or twice they have done in this first half. They've got to be patient, but make sure that they concentrate in defence.
The referee's concerned because Gary Pallister's got a cut. Jim McGregor, the physio there, just for the first time has taken to wearing spectacles, and he's left them at home today. But fortunately, the job he has to do, he's can probably see at the moment well enough to deal with the vision problem that Gary Pallister may have.
Perhaps Gary Pallister's testing him, I don't know, but it looks like a bit of concussion, doesn't it? It looks as if he got a little sort of bump on the eye. I mean, they've had a few clashes, and perhaps he's caught Flo's arm at one stage.
Not the position in which Manchester United have the best cover centre-back, is it, Trevor? I mean, if anything happened to Pallister or Bruce, I suppose Parker could always go and play there, couldn't he?
And of course you've got Roy Keane, who we know had quite a spell there with Nottingham Forest, although he probably wasn't his favourite position. Possibly with the Sheffield United playing as they do, Paul Parker's height would be a slight problem, so I would think probably Keane would be more likely on a match such as today.
Well, possession back where it belonged. This is Højlund. 37 minutes gone, no score in this FA Cup third round tie, coming to you live from Sheffield. A lot of hustle and bustle and combat of one sort or another, but at the moment not much in the way of penetration or end product, and not many saves for goalkeepers to have to make, apart from coming for crosses and back passes. This is Keane. Pallister. Well, it was about this time in the match last season when everything began to spring to life. We had 3 goals, I recall, in quick succession. One would be nice today. Here's Højlund. Forward by Irwin. Smartly caught by Brian Kidd there on the touchline, but the chance of a quick throw wasn't on. This is Irwin. Højlund. Hodges. Gage to his left. Gage gets the cross in. Hodges waiting for the volley on the left foot.
Good bit of skill there for Kevin Gage. I remember in his Wimbledon days he used to like to get forward because then he was more of a right back, and just on that occasion he showed a lot of good composure on the ball. Just the final cross, not finding out anyone. Quite interested in the right back as well, isn't it? Carl Bradshaw played most of his career at sort of striker or attacker midfield player, and here he is in recent weeks playing as a right back.
Well, Dave Bassett does shuffle the pack a lot, you know. The Sheffield United shirt numbers go up to 33 now. And as you say, they don't all play in the same position each time. This is Irwin. 23, there was Kamara. Pallister. Hoyland finds Flew. This is Hodges. Hoyland's pass across, looks for Whitehouse. Goes up against Parker and nearly got the foot in. Determined play by Dane Whitehouse, and Parker was pushed into a corner there. Hoyland looking for Flew. Goal kick. Sheffield also have a player on the bench, Roger Nilsson, who plays for Norway. So they brought quite a few players from outside the British Isles to Bramall Lane. One of the first overseas imports ever came here, I think, Sabella. Oh, and a mistake there, and a chance for Kamara, and did he get brought down by Schmeichel? Apparently not. Referee Ashby points for a corner. Chris Kamara felt it should have been a penalty. Flew has a word with the referee as well, Trevor Brooking.
There's a terrible mix-up. He just gets the touch to it. And quite frankly, I think Chris Kamara was already on his way down and sort of fell into Schmeichel more than anything. I think a younger player who perhaps other than Kamara would have gone round the goalkeeper. I think he was so tired at the end of it.
Here comes Flew! Oh, off the line! Dennis Irwin! Sheffield United really going for it here. Coming up to half-time. Hoyland's on the line. Beasley and Tuttle waiting to come in too. And this time Schmeichel holds it and then collides with Beasley on the edge of the area, while the Sheffield contingent still debate the calls for a penalty. I've got to say I agree entirely with the co-commentator. He was already on his way down. Here's Parker. And there goes Ince. And he certainly... he was certainly on his way down, and it's going to be a goal kick. The referee refusing to be influenced, you could say.
But Kamara made a very long run. I mean, it looked a forlorn hope, quite frankly, because Gary Pallister and Schmeichel seemed to have it covered. Schmeichel then thought Pallister was going to knock it back. Pallister waited, and Kamara then, having made, what, a 50 or 60-yard run in his 30s now, his legs began to buckle, and as he's tried to go outside Schmeichel, they crumbled, and he fell into Schmeichel and looked, I think, more in hope for the penalty.
He's actually in his 20th year as a professional, Kamara, Trevor. I imagine you must have played against him.
I played against him. I thought I played against him when I was a young man, and so it just shows how many advancing years he's got.
Well, here's another free kick because Hodges has gone down. Ince in the thick of it again, and Sheffield United having a bit of a spell here. Beasley goes up on the far side to support Flew. Hoyland in the centre of the penalty area. And Flew won't get there because Pallister blocked him, and the ball went over the pair of them.
Well, Pallister knows he's been in a fairly bruising encounter, as the whole match has been, and his contest against Flew, well, it takes us back, I suppose, to that England-Norway game, doesn't it? When he came into the side, Pallister was brought in, the English formation was changed to combat his height. But today, Pallister's dealt pretty well with him, and it's not been the classic first half, has it? It's one of those games where you've just got to keep your concentration, and as I say, from Manchester's point of view, they've got to work and earn the space that perhaps gradually would all unfold in the second half.
We're going into stoppage time here, and what a good memory you've got. It was, of course, the presence of Flo on the right of the Norwegian team that persuaded Graham Taylor to play the team and the formation he did in Oslo, which more or less meant Pallister playing left back. So they do know each other pretty well. And here's Cantona to Ince. And Giggs makes a forward run. Parker, Hughes, Cantona, that's lofted towards Ryan Giggs, and he's in. This is Giggs for United. Good save, Kelly. Giggs went for the near side of the goal. Bradshaw caught out, but turned round to see the goalkeeper save from Giggs.
Well, I think this is a situation where Ryan Giggs is either to look square or think about now and again coming in on his right foot, because he gave himself a poor shooting angle by keeping it on his left.
That was from Pallister. There was no danger of that threatening Kelly. Well, Bradshaw really was in a one-against-one there. Cantona lofted the pass, didn't he? And Giggs got in. But Alan Kelly gets the credit for making the save and keeping the score at half-time down to 0-0. There were one or two moments at either end, but Kelly, on the stroke of the half-time whistle, keeps Sheffield United in the fight. And as the players go off after what's been a hectic and bruising 45 minutes, we await to hear what Desmond and colleagues feel about it here in the studio.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Trevor. Well, it certainly hasn't matched last year's tie or anything like at this stage. But Sheffield United are once again making it so difficult, aren't they, Jim?
Yes, they are. I don't take the blame for that as manager, do I? But they are. They're not exactly.
Nor the credit if they win.
No. They are actually destroying the game and making it. Like, destroying it's too strong a word, but they're making it very difficult for United to find any space. But at the same time, it's rather interesting because I think it demonstrates that United are happier playing the kind of exotic 100-mile-an-hour football that they played the other night in that extraordinary game against Liverpool. But the change of pace, you know, where they break it down and be a little bit patient and hold on to the ball and then accelerate on it. When they've attacked, they've almost caught the kind of Sheffield United pace and, you know, playing it quickly. It's all over within 3 passes and we're back to the, I nearly said boredom, we're back to the stagnation again.
There's basically no goals, no football, very little excitement. Sheffield United have strangled the game. They've packed the middle of the park, they're not allowed...
Getting no time, are they?
Yeah, they haven't allowed Cantona time and space to play and Giggs to play. They've relied on set plays, they've got flow up front. The tactics aren't pretty, but you can't deny they're very effective, and they're still in the game.
Well, of course, we've got the draw live coming up after this for the 4th round. Who would your money be on at this stage of which of these teams to go into it? Both of them,
yeah.
Still fancy Manchester United.
Yeah.
I think they've had the better chances. And as Trevor says, the last half hour, they'll start to get the time and space, and then their quality players will come into it.
Well, that's it. I mean, I trail Ryan Giggs and Cantona at the top of the show, hoping we see good things. We saw 1 or 2 good things from them in that half, and we'll show you those again in a moment or two. Thanks for the moment. But let's have a look at some goals now as we reflect yesterday's FA Cup ties with Phil Jones and Gerald Sidstad.
In his days as a non-league manager, Barry Fry used to specialise in inflicting exactly the kind of unhappiness that happened to him this time around. Though when Birmingham City in blue took a 9th-minute lead through Paul Harding, all seemed well. Under the new regime, their home record was 2 wins and a draw. But Kidderminster are neither a flash nor a bash in the pan. Conference leaders on merit, they turned on the style. Neil Cartwright headed an equaliser. After Andy Saville, though, had failed with a penalty, Birmingham may have suspected it wasn't their day, but it was John Purdy's. The tie settled, 26 minutes still to play. Purdy will close his eyes and replay this moment to himself for many years to come.
Stockport County don't have a cup tradition to speak of. The 4th round has been uncharted territory for them in the last 29 years. So it was up to Danny Bergara's second division side to change all that. Not that they appear to know how early on. QPR's Les Ferdinand setting up Simon Barker for a thunderous opener for the Premiership visitors. But Stockport's fortunes turned just before half-time. With Tony Barras lying injured and offside in the box, QPR's defenders were guilty of waiting for play to be stopped. It wasn't, and neither was Kevin Francis, the 17th goal of the season for the biggest target man around. The second half belonged to Stockport. Their dominance was rewarded by a stunning goal from top scorer Andy Preece 16 minutes from time. He says he's never scored a better one. Nor indeed can Stockport County remember a better cup day.
Not an easy tie for Everton. Overnight, they'd acquired a manager who knew enough about them to have overseen their 5-goal demolition in September. Miracles are not on the Mike Walker agenda. But Paul Rideout's nimble turn and cool goal at least encouraged the faithful. Scored as it was in that supposedly psychological 44th minute. So much for psychology. 2 minutes after the break, Bolton were level. An aberration by Paul Holmes, leading to Mark Patterson's first goal since September. Everton survived despite the latest sending off of Barry Horn, but they'll recall that Liverpool lost a home replay to Bolton only last season.
Another Lancashire club facing a replay are Blackburn Rovers. Surprising considering they're second in the Premiership and had won their previous 6 at Ewood Park. Just as surprising perhaps that they failed to hold on to the lead 3 times. Alan Shearer giving them the upper hand initially with his 21st goal of the season. Portsmouth's league form has been indifferent of late, but the spirit and determination of Jim Smith's team is unquestioned, as typified by Alan McLaughlin early in the second half. Blackburn are 4th favourites at 9-1 to win the cup. The flowing move, which put them ahead once more, illustrated why. Kevin Gallagher, the man on the end of it. Portsmouth's second reply came just 8 minutes from the end. The unflappable McLaughlin, composure personified in front of goal once more. 2-2. Blackburn were ahead again within 3 minutes. Tim Sherwood smashing the ball into the ground and into the net. Surely this time they'd hold on. But the Cup semi-finalists of 2 seasons ago knew if they could hit back twice, they could do it a third time. McLaughlin, the man for the job once again, just 20 seconds from time. A South Coast trek for Kenny Dalglish and Rovers on Tuesday week.
The last top draw side knocked out of the FA Cup by Peterborough were Arsenal back in Derek Dugan's heyday. Yesterday, Spurs looked like going the same way when Jason Brissett scored for the Posh just after the hour. Only the second senior goal for the 19-year-old, signed on a free transfer from Arsenal. Chances then came at both ends, but only one was taken. It was Tottenham's Jason who rose to the occasion. Dizelle rescuing Spurs in the 86th minute. Chris Turner, Peterborough's man of many parts, was not unhappy.
After our first half performance, I can't really say that we deserved to win the game. You know, we had 2 or 3 good chances at the end, but they had 2 or 3 good chances and all. And second half, it was a good cup tie.
And the replay?
Manager's hat, looking forward to it. Chairman's hat, really looking forward to it.
Sheffield Wednesday, beaten finalists last year, have hit a rich vein of form, which suggests a Wembley return isn't out of the question. Mark Bright's goals have been a primary cause for Wednesday's run of just 1 defeat in 19, his 6th in as many games, giving them an early lead. After conceding a sickening late goal to lose a 93 final, Wednesday might have learned their lesson. Apparently not. Colin Cooper rising above the pack to give First Division Forest an 88th minute draw.
If Southampton fans feared a shock result, Port Vale supporters had a pleasant surprise. In nearly 200 appearances, Andy Porter had scored only 5. That one, squirming out of Dave Besant's hands, was his first goal for just over a year. But in Ian Dowie, Saints have a man who's rediscovered the knack. Even his fiercest critic won't grudge him credit for this. His 3rd goal in 4 games. But the replay won't be a pushover.
It's a gross understatement to say Andy Cole and Peter Beardsley are proving a handful for all comers right now. But for all their magnificent goal-scoring feats in the league, they'd not enjoyed similar success in the Cup until yesterday. That was Andy Cole's 18th goal in the last 12 home games, but his first ever in the FA Cup. Beardsley had scored 11 in the last 12 matches, but he'd never scored in the Cup for Newcastle. He made that fact redundant with typical brilliance to make Coventry's 87 Cup final triumph an even more distant memory for them.
Main Road hasn't had many uplifting experiences this year, and the one that arrived yesterday could hardly have come from a more unexpected source. A hat-trick by Norway's Kara Ingebrigtsen, who's been serving time on the subs bench. The first two goals came within a minute of each other, and both were headers from a player who is all of 5'7". By the time the third chance arrived, Leicester seemed to believe he wasn't a danger with the ball on the ground. Another lesson learned.
And another hat-trick at Selhurst Park from a player more accustomed to finding the net. Dean Holdsworth saw off the third division challenge of Scunthorpe, his first goal after 11 minutes created by Gary Elkins' vision and taken with the confidence of a forward on song. Scunthorpe's hopes of snatching anything from this tie evaporated deep into first half injury time with another accomplished finish from Holdsworth. The treble came when John Fashionu's shot escaped Mark Samways. Holdsworth's 8th goal in 8 games, the third hat-trick of third round day.
Bristol City survived serious doubts caused by the West Country monsoon to stage their prize tie against Liverpool. The game was only 12 minutes old when John Barnes set up an Ian Rush goal that suggested the Mersey tide had not receded after their midweek flood against Manchester United. However, the expectation ebbed away. Martin Scott's cross, Wayne Allison heading the equaliser. In the end, though, the water did get into the works. The floodlights dimmed, flickered, recovered and dimmed again. Back to square one they'll go on Wednesday week. Rush's 40th cup goal consigned to the black hole of history that never was.
Well done, Gerald. Who are you going for in the Cup this year, Jim, out of interest?
Sheffield Wednesday.
How are you?
You're still going for them after yesterday?
Well, you have to. You can't.
Well, you're still going for Blackburn after yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, 0-0 if you're just joining us here. Sheffield United against Manchester United. And right at the top, we mentioned that we were looking forward to the skills of Cantona and Giggs.
Well, Cantona hasn't been in it much, but when he comes into it, you know, everything is just about perfection. He's actually going the wrong way here. Now watch the control and the pass is magical onto Canchelsis. And I feel the ball into the box here should have been better. He's overhit it a bit. Hughes can't get on the end of it. And I thought that was a chance wasted.
And Giggs, Jim?
Well, he hasn't really caught fire, but I think Manchester United are still in the 100-mile-an-hour mood, you know, and at times they're too impatient. They played a lot of good first-time balls, but Sheffield are hustling them, and there are times when they can calm down and change the pace of it. And there was one very good example when Kanchelski's shot. You see here, it's after one of the Giggs runs, and in the end they get the ball back. He made an attempt to go through there, didn't get the break, the ball comes out, and it's given back to United. There it is to Kanchelsis. Now, all right, so he could score from there. He's got a superb right foot shot anyway, but look at the run on the right from Keane. Just a bit of patience. If he pushes a side foot ball there, he puts them into a point-blank scoring position and turns a half chance into something, you know, that's a clinical goal.
Some players are very single-minded. When they see the goals, that's it. It's down. He wasn't even looking up there. He was just hitting it. As soon as he got it, didn't matter who was running right or left, he was heading for goals. And the manager might have said if he'd have passed it, why didn't you shoot? But I agree with you. You know, made a good run on the right-hand side. He should have played him, and again, it would have been a chance.
Chris Kamara thought he might have had a penalty towards the end, but you didn't think so either of you, did you?
No, I thought he fell down. It was a great opportunity. A little bit of misunderstanding between Pallister and Schmeichel.
No point in looking at it again then. Okay.
I don't think it was a penalty, and the angle the ref was, he couldn't have given it anyway.
Let's rejoin Trevor and John then. Oh no, we're going to hear from Dave Bassett.
Dave, a quick indication of how you thought the first half went.
Well, I'm relatively pleased, but, you know, we play too many long balls, so it causes a problem to us. We don't pass the ball enough, and we've got to get the ball down and pass it more than Manchester United.
You're making it very difficult for them.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I think they've a bit more long balls than us, but, of course, probably that won't count on the TV.
Dave, thanks. Second half virtually underway. Thank you.
Yep.
So now it's Trevor and John.
Thanks, Desmond. I think Dave Bassett tongue-in-cheek a bit there. If you read his programme notes today, you'd know, I think, that he feels a little bit concerned about some of the criticism of Sheffield United's style of play. However, We'll see what happens in the second half, because they're still very much in this cup tie, even though they've found goals hard to come by recently. Only, I think they failed to score in 9 of their last 11. Pallister forward for Manchester United. There are no subs on, by the way. McClare and Robson are the Manchester United replacements if needed, and Nielsen and Scott for Sheffield United, but as yet no sign of them.
Yes, I would think probably Dave would be looking at me as well, because I've never, been a great supporter of the style of football that, his sides have played. But I think, he motivates his teams. They work very hard. They make it very difficult. But, I wouldn't like to watch it week in and week out.
Here's Whitehouse. Oh, Ince. Well, I suppose that particular debate will go on forever, won't it, between the two different ways of playing, both of which are amply illustrated in the Premiership every week. Here's Pallister. And here's Bruce. Cantona. Keane. And Jimmy was saying that Manchester United are still caught in the 100 miles an hour trap. They've almost been listening to him. I think they've started off very deliberately until that overhit pass. Hoyland, Hodges, Flew and Kamara, the two players furthest forward here. Ward. And again, Mitch Ward. Forward by Hoyland. Now Flew's waiting in the middle, but the cross isn't good enough. And here's Cantona. Kanchelskis, Gage. Beasley. Whitehouse. Hughes, Cantona, good tackle by Kamara, Hodges, Ward. Hodges again. Directing things here, Hoyland joins the attack. Hodges still available here. Flew. His header's down, haven't found a colleague today. Oh, mistake by Beasley. Giggs off. Hughes was all ready to run onto that. That's a better header from Flew. Whitehouse in the middle here, and everybody left it.
One or two mental blocks going on, aren't there? There's sort of good positions where suddenly the player seems to freezes and pick the wrong option or not see the ball properly, and they just give the ball away again. It's one of those afternoons up to now.
Which suggests that perhaps if it is going to be settled, it will be done by, it will be finally a mistake that leads to a goal. Flew's header. Hughes, Kanchelskis, still the Russian with the ball. This is Keane, back again to Kanchelskis. Well taken by Kelly.
I think that's all Manchester have to do. Kanchelskis hugged the line and Giggs the other side. Once he started drifting in, he was going to run into trouble, but then he made a good run back outside and got the cross in. I'm sure if they just kept those two out wide and told them to take on the fullbacks, get it to feet early, that they would utilise the space of the pitch much more than they've done up to now.
Well, here's Cantona looking for Giggs, intercepted by Bradshaw. Now Hodges to Gage. Whitehouse. Ward, little flick, looking for Hodges, but Sheffield United had plenty of players forward there, but Manchester pulled just as many back. This is Cantona. Kanchelskis. And Manchester now with a full attack of 5, but the simple pass goes astray. And there's an argument between Keane and Kanchelskis about that.
Just a misunderstanding. Keane actually ran into an offside position, so he then had to come back out, and then Kanchelskis decided to release the ball, and that's just that lack of understanding.
And that was a mistake on the back heel by Kamara, but not a very good pass forward. In fact, Ince was fouled as he released the ball by Kamara. That's why the play's been pulled back, but the ball was on there to put Cantona through on goal, but Ince was caught, and a free kick it will be. Keane to Irwin. Keane. Foul. 2 fouls. Referee saw the first one by Kamara. Now I just wonder, is this a Ryan Giggs position, Trevor, or not?
He probably will think he's got a chance. I think it's a long way out. It's got to be at least 30 yards, if not a little bit more, and it's going to take some shot to beat Kelly from there.
Well, of course, Irwin did it, didn't he, the other night at Liverpool? I wonder if he's sizing this one up as well.
Yeah, I think it'll be an Irwin shot because it's his side. It's a right-footed side.
He planted one well wide of Grobbelaar on Tuesday, right in the corner. But Kanchelskis in the end took over, and probably now they wish Irwin had taken it.
I just think it was too far out for a direct kick from the sort of range, 30, 35 yards, and they tried to get Kanchelskis in a little bit closer, but always again a bit hurried, and Sheffield United defenders always very keen just to take that extra yard or two to deny the space.
Whitehouse trying to cut off the back pass. So it's Kamara. Throw given to the favourites. Ince. Well, that is a long ball, but it's an accurate one to Giggs. Now they want people in the middle here, and they're arriving now. Hughes is there, so is Cantona. It's still Giggs. Cantona. Ince.
Well, a marvellous piece of Giggs' skill initially to get on the end of the long ball from Ince. Then out wide, he did the little back heel, and I thought he could have whipped the ball in then with his left foot, but he came back inside, and then Paul Ince was hurried, and it was a poor shot. But as you can see, good back heel then. I think that was the time then to whip the ball in with his left foot, and 2 players were going in, but then he's come back inside, and then they've all got shut down with the space.
Crowd of just over 22,000 wondering when or whether they're going to see a goal. That's Irwin over on the far side trying to clear. But Sheffield still bottling up instant company, not giving them time to move the ball on. Hoyland's header forward, Ward got in there. And Mitch Ward, always capable of firing one with his right foot. He was something of a hero here last season in the 6th round against Blackburn Rovers. 2 goals that night and then a penalty shootout in which he also scored. Hughes making a run now. It was a curved run, it kept him onside, battling with Tuttle. Here's Kamara. That's aimed at Whitehouse. It got there too. This is Flew. And it's away by Bruce. And back in by Beasley. Ward on the far side. The header up in the air by Irwin. Flew underneath it. Irwin again. Quite a prolonged spell in the Manchester United half here. This is Kamara. Hoyland trying to make it.
Well, they continue just to work so hard, don't they? Whenever the ball breaks loose, they're snapping their heels of Manchester's side and still can't find that little bit of space and that hurrying in to giving possession and conceding possession.
This is Hughes. Cantona now has a chance for Kanchelskis to burst between 2 defenders. The ball overhit again. And here's Kevin Gage. Gets it back from Hodges. Flew with his arm up on the far side. Oh, it's come to Kamara via Ince. Now Hoyland. Kamara, Hoyland. Good move. Whitehouse. And Cantona looks right, looks left, and he picks out the runner on this side, which is Kanchelskis. Hughes goes to the near post. Giggs is in there too. Corner off Gage.
Good break with United, Manchester, but I mean Sheffield United played 1 or 2 good moves along the floor then and nearly got through. And interested to see them occasionally trying that as well.
Steve Bruce has come forward for the corner. He's going to join Roy Keane on the far side of the area. Hughes on the 6-yard line. Oof, away by Flew, who'd come back to defend. Dennis Irwin now, offside. Away by Tuttle, looking for Ward. Keane. An hour gone here at Bramall Lane, the FA Cup 3rd round. A ground where Manchester United got knocked out last season. It's 0-0 today. That's aimed at Flew. Giggs. Cantona. Keane. Manchester have 6 players in attack here. Kanchelskis takes on Whitehouse. Throw's been given to Sheffield.
Manchester did get 6 men forward, but Sheffield had 9 men back, and that was the problem. They're still always making sure they've got a depth in numbers.
Kamara with Ward on that side of the field as well. There goes Mitch Ward, and it'll run, I think. Of course, we should not be unaware that Sheffield United reached the semi-final last season, played at Wembley against their city rivals Wednesday, and lost 2-1. Haven't been to the FA Cup final since 1936, and haven't won it since the 20s. Manchester United's FA Cup pedigree well chronicled. Here's Pallister. Irwin. Ince. Hughes comes a little bit deeper. Kanchelskis takes up the central position. This is Keane. They're still moving around up front. Parker into Hughes. Looking for space that they just can't find at the moment. Parker. Hughes. Cantona, little flick. Hughes again, move it on. Ince. Hughes, it's a good move, this. Hughes, Ince. Hughes! Great move! Fantastic goal! Oh, what a beautiful goal! Count the passes! And then the finish!
Well, you mentioned the contrast in styles, and, you know, if we've got any chance in international football, this has to be the way to score goals. A magnificent move, so many touches, and the movement, the running off the ball. Ince and Hughes in the end conjured this up. Ince into Hughes, there he is, he's going to play another one too, and Kelly got a touch, was unlucky not to make the save, but it was a wonderful goal.
So Mark Hughes returns in style after his injury. It hit the post. Cantona would have put it in if it had come out, I think, anyway. And Manchester United take the lead with a movement which really didn't belong to a game like this. It was absolutely brilliant. Cantona's now in the middle, and he's got a chance here. Now, what is the reply, if any, from Sheffield United? They were 1 down in this fixture last year, remember. Came back to win 2-1. Well, that will go down. Alex Ferguson's team have put a memorable goal there in the FA Cup archives. And I've no doubt somebody will be counting the passes. I lost count, actually. And a little bit of niggle there. Just being sorted out. Kamara and Ince have been at it verbally anyway from the start, and it's not getting any calmer out there. I think you predicted that one, Trevor.
Well, I did. I certainly spent a lot of energy chatting the pair of them, haven't they? And but there have been a lot of tackles going in, and that one you could have predicted. It didn't take much foresight to see those pair clashing plenty of occasions during this sort of game. I mean, at the moment, Flo is the only Sheffield United player in their half, in the United half, and they're 1-0 down. They're the home team. At some stage, they've got to change it and become a bit more positive, surely.
Well, that was the decision to play with one striker. He's got Scott on the bench, who is a forward player, Dave Bassett. For the moment, it's Manchester United very much in the ascendancy. It's Cantona on the ball. Hughes, another good turn by him. Oof, nearly got Cantona through on the left. This, though, is Mitch Ward for Sheffield United. In the middle, Flew. climbing all over Bruce. Free kick.
Well, you have to feel a certain sympathy for Flo there, because, you know, when Mitch Warders hit it, he was completely by himself. But I mean, this is the goal. I mean, look, Parker, and now Cantona then flicks it to Hughes, and that's when Instant Hughes begin it from here, because there's still a number of defenders in between the two of them. Make a bit of space there. Hughes, good unselfish 1-2 there, and with his left foot, good touch from Kelly, just not enough, but a wonderful passing goal, that one.
And just to think, Trevor, there are certain people that keep telling us all the goals come from less than 5-pass movements. Let's hope they replay that one a few times. That's what we want to see more of, and that would be a wonderful goal in any class of football. It belonged actually to an international match of the highest order.
And despite, you know, what certain people would like us to think, I think the wave of opinion with the supporters now is that they want to see more sides playing that. They've seen, you know, a lot of sides towards the top, and Norwich this year in Europe playing that sort of football, and the players themselves enjoy it.
Yes, it's getting a bit heated again out there. While we're drooling over the goal, they're kicking proverbial lumps out of each other. Not quite, but it's pretty tasty in the midfield, and it's a free kick. Flew closing in here, and the Scandinavian is met by a Scandinavian.
I would also say that I have a certain sympathy of Gary Pallister, because he was looking and had a word with Schmeichel, who again didn't come off his line. There's been 2 or 3 occasions where the call-in between the two central defenders and Schmeichel has been a bit askew, and that was an example when Kamara ran through. And on that occasion, if it had been an unkind bounce, again, there could have been a misunderstanding.
OK, it's back with Giggs, and here's Cantona, who inevitably had a hand in that movement, didn't he? He's brought so much in the last year and, 2 months to Manchester United's style of play. A new dimension, you could say. Forward by Pallister. So often those Route 1 balls, as they're called, run straight through to the opposing goalkeeper. Or even like that. .68 minutes gone at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United 0, Manchester United 1. The draw, of course, for the 4th round coming up at the end of this match, here live for you on BBC television. When the teams who got through yesterday will know what the reward is. I'm sure most of them are watching this. Keane, Giggs, Irwin. Hughes got it back nicely. It's a corner.
Well, Manchester beginning to make Sheffield run and work and had to chase the ball, and you're beginning to see 1 or 2 Sheffield players beginning to tire, and I think not before time a substitution is coming now for the home team.
Yes, I think Jimmy and Alan said, didn't they, that the longer the game went on, the more Sheffield would be drained by the hard work they've had to do in chasing. And just a question of whether this substitution happens before the corner or not. It won't, I don't. It's going to be a corner. Flew with the header in the air. And again. Cantona. What's on here? Oh, Bruce. Irwin. Giggs, who took the corner, staying wide. Ince again. Cantona. Kanchelskis. Bruce is still forward here. Retrieved by Keane. Sheffield still trying to attract the referee's attention to the touchline, and Andy Scott, who came from Sutton United themselves in the FA Cup yesterday, scored on his full debut at the end of last season. He's coming on for Jamie Hoyland.
Well, I'm surprised to see Jamie Holland taken off, because I thought he'd done very well in midfield, but certainly right that a striker had to come on at that stage.
Andy Scott's got a bit of pace, and he's a left-sided player. Parker. Cantona. Good challenge by Kamara. This is Scott in actual fact with his first run. And he's obviously been told to have a go and take them on. The tackle is by Ince. And still Scott battles away. Goes down, referee says play on. This is Hughes. He's challenged as well, and it's Hodges. And it's Flew, and it's Hodges. And Ward came in. That was the best chance of the match for Sheffield United. And the reaction of the players indicates that Ward should have kept that down. Hodges was involved in the move. It came behind the defenders, and Ward tried to place it with the side of the foot, and he got underneath it.
It was a good move along the floor as well for Sheffield. Opened it up. Ward just tried to pick his spot, and it just went over the crossbar. Unlucky there, Mitch Ward. But Mark Hughes still down on the floor. I thought it was a very hefty challenge. This is the passing move. And as you see, it just breaks nicely. Ward tries to pick his spot, just gets underneath it and over the crossbar. But I thought the tackle on Hughes, I think he was a bit fortunate not to get away with a free kick. And there's Kamara and Ince having another chat about what a good game this has been.
I don't think they're going to be buying each other a pint tonight, those two, do you, Trevor?
They're now chatting to their teammates, probably asking what are they saying to me, because perhaps some of the words being exchanged they're not too sure about. That's the tackle. He's come right for you, Hughes, and I think that should have been a free kick myself.
It was David Tuttle actually that made the challenge. "72 minutes. Hughes recovers after treatment, and when all's said and done, it'll be a goal kick because Ward's shot went over the bar. Giggs. Cantona. Played by Pallister. Here he is again. Kamara. Hodges. I think we also must define, in fairness to Sheffield United, the difference in resources between these two clubs, Trevor, in as much as Andy Scott, who's just come on, is a player who Dave Bassett picked up cheaply from the non-league scene, as he has many players who've gone into the Premiership in the red and white stripes, whereas Manchester United can afford to pay the likes of £3.75 million on Roy Keane. So obviously you have to cut your cloth, don't you?
I think you do, and I accept that. I then balance it up with sides such as Queen's Park Rangers and Norwich, who haven't had that sort of budget, and you can still give an example of what they've been able to do. I think it's far easier to organise a side to sort of, you know, be defensive and stop the opposition playing, rather than it is to create a bit of inventive attacking football yourself.
Right. Back to basics, as a certain famous person has said. And away goes Giggs. And Hughes is in the middle, so is Kanchelskis. Hughes!
Well, you can see the frustration on Hughes' face, because it was a superb cross from Giggs. He did all the hard work and just didn't manage to keep it down, because he did get in front of the defender.
Cantona is offside, is he? Yes, yes. Goal number 12 of the season for Mark Hughes, incidentally. He's 2 behind Cantona now. Header by Bruce. Giggs. Tuttle. Bradshaw. Scott. Brings Hodges into the play. Here's Gage. Now Keane. If this is played right, Manchester United could get a break on. It's Kanchelskis. And still tangling up with Beasley in the end. And it opens up at the other end a little bit now. Kamara. Ward, Flew and Scott are forward. Here's Ward. Hughes. In it goes again for Justine Flew. Tries to knock it on. Back in by Hodges. Flew's there again!
That was a terrific cross from Glenn Hodges there, because it was a good knockdown by Flew. As you see, he comes on the end. It looks as if he's going to shoot, and then just clips the ball in, and Flew gets up. Just couldn't quite get it on target, and Pallister getting another knock on the head. And as you can see, still got the repercussions. I mean, he had 1 or 2 in the first half, and Schmeichel probably saying to him, have a little break. But I'm sure he'll know at the end of the 90 minutes. He's in a fair old bruise in that pairing.
I think Schmeichel's spoken to the referee, Trevor, about possibly what he thought was a dangerous challenge there by Justine Flew. But he got his head to the ball, didn't he?
Well, you can see that he gets the first header in, and because it's then his head as he follows through that catches Pallister. So I don't think there's any great problem as far as arms or anything. I just think it was a brave striker's header. I think he's done not bad in the air, battling a lot of high balls, but hasn't had a lot of support on most occasions.
There's Hughes passing it on to Giggs. Hughes has gone into a tunnel with a defender. It's Giggs with the shot. And 2 players were picking themselves up there while that was going on, but in the meantime, it's Dane Whitehouse for Sheffield United, inside to Hodges. Back again to Whitehouse. Gage. Giggs with a defensive header. Keane. Out again to Giggs. No, it's too far ahead of him. Bradshaw. Just over 12 minutes left. Manchester United lead 1-0, but Sheffield United and Dave Bassett don't know what a lost cause is. Ward.
I don't know if you can see a foul throw from that length of throw at that stage, and just under about 12-13 minutes left. I think Sheffield just going to have to take 1 or 2 extra chances and throw 1 or 2 midfield men forward to support Flew, because at the moment they've still got 6 or 7 back on occasions, and I think they have to take a chance, even if it means conceding a second goal.
Well, the linesman and referee not quite in accord there. I think that's going to go in the end to Sheffield. Tuttle. Thought there would have been the shout, but Schmeichel picked it up virtually from between Parker's feet. This is Kanchelskis now, taking on Gage. Hughes and Giggs are in the middle. The Cantonar's there as well. Oh! Just failed to make contact, the Frenchman.
Well, a marvellous cross from Kanchelskis. I think Cantona was surprised at the pace of it. I thought he would have headed it, diving header, but he just went beyond it before he lifted his leg up, and I thought Kanchelskis did marvellous there, because he took Schmeichel's throw on the run, got away from Gage, whipped in the perfect cross, but it was probably one of those where you've probably been better with your head rather than the foot.
Well, Sheffield want to make their second substitution. Mitch Ward is being pulled off, and we're going to see another man who'll be playing in the World Cup, Roger Nielsen, the Norwegian defender. And he doesn't mind being called Roger, but he's coming on as a defender, in actual fact, which means there'll be a reshuffle, Trevor, which I'll leave you to sort out.
Well, it's not surprising, because Bradshaw, we mentioned, who's been playing right back, used to be a striker and an attacking midfield player, so Gage, who had been playing left back, has gone across to right back, and they've just pushed Bradshaw up into that more attacking position.
Good stuff. Here's Kamara. Yes, so 33 is Roger Nielsen. And here's Parker, and he's got 3 up with him. Giggs has made a terrific run through the centre, and Parker unable to find him, and indeed is now out of position as Tuttle brings the ball forward for Sheffield United, but Parker got back magnificently. What a great recovery by the right back. And now it's Irwin on the far side. Keane. Kanchelskis. Under 10 minutes to go here at Bramall Lane. And Manchester United endeavouring to stroke the ball around. Here's Pallister. Irwin. Kanchelskis, Ince, Cantona hoping it comes through. It might now. Kanchelskis and Hughes together, away by Tuttle. This is Whitehouse. Flew is coming in from the far side again. Another brave header by Pallister. Still Flew. And there's a chance here. Is there for Scott? No, taken off his toes. Kamara to Hodges. Scott. Pallister away. Here's Gage. Gage, as you said, now playing at right back, but he's not going to find a colleague with that pass.
They've had to work very hard, Sheffield, in this second half, because Manchester passed the ball much better than they did in the first, and made them chase and harass and use up a lot more energy. And when Sheffield have actually been in possession themselves, they have not quite had the verve and enthusiasm and effort to push forward and get forward in numbers as they perhaps did in that opening half, and that's why, you know, it's been a lot more comfortable second half. And of course they've got the goal as well, Manchester.
Yes, sometimes people join us late in the day. They've been out perhaps for the afternoon, come in for tea, and the FA Cup draw to follow this match. Well, if you have missed the goal, you'll see it again many, many times, because it was a classic scored by Mark Hughes. And it's by that goal that Manchester United lead. Sheffield United on the attack at the moment, though. Scott and Flew looking for the flick on. There's Flew. There's Scott. Irwin. Here's Giggs. It's Gage over there. Flew. And Scott will have to be the target man now, and it's Bruce who's with him. Here's Scott. Can he get Whitehouse in here? He appeals for the corner. It was deflected from Dane Whitehouse. And that was close, and it shows the match isn't over. Played back in, and as Parker failed to get there, it's just pushed round for the corner. Kamara's on the line. Cantona heads towards Kanchelskis. That looked as though it might well have been a foul, but play goes on. And Flew and Scott are waiting again here. Beasley. And Manchester United had something of an escape there. I'll let Trevor refer back to that in just a second. This is Cantona.
Well, it was an escape. It was a good break, good build from Flo. It just showed the difference and how much he enjoyed having somebody else up with him. And Scott did well, found Whitehouse, and I thought actually Parker did just get the tackle in and get a deflection wide. And Paul Parker's defended very well today. I mean, he looks as if he's having an excellent season whenever I've seen Manchester play.
He'd like to get that England right back spot back, I know that. Our World Cup number 2. Here's Cantona. In 1990 that was, when he played in Italy, Bobby Robson's team. Here he is now. Kanchelskis, Parker again. Kanchelskis, Hughes in the middle. Kanchelskis pulls it back for Inks, and here's Giggs! What a great save by Alan Kelly. Well, that would have been 2-0 and all over.
Kanchelskis again, he's had a good second half, good pullback, great strike, great save.
So it's a corner on the far side. Bruce has come up for it. Back again with Giggs. And Cantona's there, and the flag's up on this side. Referee may not have seen it yet, in fact he hasn't seen it, and it's still up. In the sense now it won't matter, because I think it was for an offside, and there's going to be a free kick anyway.
Referee probably wonders what the crowd are all shouting at me, thinking, well, I've given the free kick anyway, not realising that the linesman's flag had been waving for about 20 seconds before.
Just about 3 minutes to go, and offside now at the other end. Manchester United 3 minutes away from a place in the 4th round draw, which will be coming up from Lancaster Gate as soon as this match is over. His team look at this stage as though they're going to be in it. Hughes starts to make a run now. Giggs is on that side as well. Header by Gage. Hughes. Oh, he's had a kick there. Now, Hughes was booked in the first half.
Well, he's got to go off.
And this is dangerous here for Mark Hughes. He had a kick there at David Tuttle, and having already been booked, he's off with a red card. Mark Hughes sent off on his return. The scorer of the goal gets the red card with less than 3 minutes to go, but he was booked in the first half after allegedly leaving a foot on Kamara. The referee went back and booked him when the play stopped, and now Alex Ferguson's goal scorer, possible match winner, goes off for a second offence, Trevor Brooking.
Well, they've had a tussle all afternoon. I mean, whether it was that tackle, about 10 or 15 minutes ago when I said Tuttle came through Hughes, but that is a dreadful kick. I mean, there's no excuse for just because the ball is a couple of yards away. Mark Hughes, I mean, the referee showed it as a second yellow card, but I think it was possibly worth a red card just in its own. And he'll know he shouldn't have allowed his frustrations to get to the stage where you just have a wild kick like that.
Well, what would have been, or may still be, we'll wait. It's forward now by Beasley. Cantona. I was going to say what should have been a memorable day in a sense for Mark Hughes, in that he was on the end of that terrific goal. It's not going to end that way at all for him. It may well still end on the right side for Manchester United. A minute to go. 1-0 up, but down to 10 men now. There's Scott jumping. Well, drama here then, just when the game seemed to be petering out a little, and there appears to be a little unrest too down there. I think the stewards have got it well under control, and Manchester United are breaking again. It's Cantona and Giggs, and the goalkeeper's right out and does well a second time. Twice now that Giggs has been foiled by goalkeeper Kelly, offside at the other end. It's a frantic finish here. Kelly, the goalkeeper, who I think will be going to the World Cup, has foiled Giggs with two very different saves, but both in their own way excellent. And certainly kept the score down. Dave Bassett's team into stoppage time now to look for the equaliser. And the The 10 men of Manchester have possession with Keane. And the long one searching out Flew. Gage, Bradshaw. Flew goes to the centre, so does Scott. Beasley's up there as well. Flew's there, Scott's there. Can they get it through the crowd? They might now. Shot was by Whitehouse, then it was volleyed back in again by Nilsson.
Well, that little frenetic spell at the end probably summed up the game, didn't it? It's been one of those matches, I'm sure Manchester United and Alex Ferguson knew how hard it was going to be. They battled, they defended, they worked hard, and then conjured up a superb goal and got that little bit of space and time in the second half with the quality of their passing, and I think no one would dispute in the end that they will be worthy winners of this particular
Good pass that, wasn't it? Parker to Cantona, Giggs on the far side, coming in now. He's got support if he needs it from Ince. And Giggs knows it's very close to time here. And he's gone for the corner and got it. The second minute of stoppage time at Bramall Lane. Manchester United lead 1-0. Mark Hughes sent off. Corner kick. The referee will just keep the clock ticking. Giggs again. Irwin. Cantona pulls it back, and there's the chance for number 2. Roy Keane, but Kelly has now made 3 saves, which still give Sheffield United reason to breathe. This is Nilsson looking for Flo on the far side. You have the feeling, really, that Manchester United should have locked this game up more emphatically than they appear to have done. Here's Gage. Oh, he's missed it, Schmeichel! What on earth is happening in there? Whitehouse. Beasley. And Beasley's cross disappointing, but there was a moment there where Schmeichel and the defenders, they're still arguing about it. There was either a lack of communication, but here it comes.
Well, it was a great cross from Gage, put in at pace, and he's gone with his feet instead. He didn't fancy going with his head, I don't think, and very relieved, I'm sure, to see it go right across the face of the goal. Possibly, I think, Sheffield's last chance.
Well, we're in the 4th minute of stoppage time, and Manchester United do indeed go through to the 4th round, courtesy of a goal that will go down in FA Cup history. A quite phenomenal movement, which brought the match really out of a bit of a trough and made it a very exciting one in the last few minutes. Mark Hughes, the goal scorer, sent off, but Alex Ferguson, looking around angrily, can blame Kelly, the goalkeeper, for saving 2 or 3 other efforts which could have made the victory more emphatic. But when it all dies down, it's Sheffield United 0, Manchester United 1.
Thanks, John. We'll have comments on that match to come, but Manchester United are in that 4th round draw. That's where we're heading straight away now to Lancaster Gate for that draw live, and David Davis.
An atmosphere just a trifle more restrained here at White's Hotel in central London than there at Bramall Lane in South Yorkshire. As always, some numbers to look out for in the draw, just seconds away now. Stockport County, who beat QPR, they're number 5. Kidderminster Harriers, 22. Portsmouth, perhaps not getting the credit from the headline writers this morning that they deserved after their 3-all draw at Blackburn Rovers. They're number 30, and Manchester United, number 25. It's all yours, Graham Kelly, Chief Executive of the Football Association.
Thank you. Well, in the trial run which we've just had for timing purposes, Kidderminster 22 drew Villa 23. We'll see if we can do the same again. The home teams will be drawn by Mr Gordon McKeague, the Chairman of the Challenge Cup Committee, and the away teams by Sir Bert Millichip, the Chairman of the FA.
Number 26.
Southampton or Port Vale.
Number 10.
Will play Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Number 19.
Grimsby Town
Number 23.
will play Aston Villa.
Number 13.
Newcastle United
Number 4.
will play Luton Town or Southend United.
Number 18.
Wimbledon
Number 31.
will play Sunderland or Carlisle United.
Number 5.
Stockport County
Number 21.
will play Bristol City or Liverpool.
Number 8.
Norwich City
Number 25.
will play Manchester United.
Number 17.
Plymouth Argyle
Number 9.
will play Barnsley.
Number 1.
Swindon Town or Ipswich Town
Number 32.
will play Peterborough United or Tottenham Hotspur.
Number 29.
Oldham Athletic
Number 15.
will play Stoke City or Bath City.
Number 20.
Barnet or Chelsea
Number 11.
will play Sheffield Wednesday or Nottingham Forest.
Number 22.
Kidderminster Harriers
Number 3.
will play Preston North End.
Number 28.
Notts County
Number 6.
will play West Ham United.
Number 7.
Cardiff City or Middlesbrough
Number 24.
will play Manchester City.
Number 14.
Charlton Athletic
Number 30.
will play Blackburn Rovers or Portsmouth.
Number 2.
Oxford United
Number 27.
will play Leeds United.
And number 16.
Bolton Wanderers or Everton
Number 12.
will play Millwall or Arsenal. That concludes the draw. The ties will be played the weekend of the 29th, 30th and 31st of January.
And so there it is, some mouth-watering prospects as always. Grimsby against Aston Villa. They're the second game down on the chart there. Stockport County get the reward that they wanted, I'm sure. A home tie against Bristol City, or could it be Liverpool? And Norwich City against Manchester United, perhaps the game of the round. Other games, Bath City away, if they can overcome Stoke City against Oldham Athletic. Kidderminster at home to Preston, they'll be pleased with that, I suspect. And then Bolton or Everton against Millwall or Arsenal. What a game in prospect for Mike Walker. I wonder what reaction to all that you've got there at Bramall Lane, Desmond.
We're about to find out, because Manchester United, having won here, have drawn Norwich away. Steve Bruce used to play for Norwich. Let's hear what he thinks.
Steve, what do you think?
Well, it's a good draw, isn't it? I mean, it's a difficult draw, but obviously for me, it adds a bit of space to it, seeing it's my old club.
And I expect the way United are playing at the moment, you don't really fear anyone, although it's a tough game.
Well, you know, you've drawn away from home. Doesn't matter where you're going to go, it's going to be a tough game. Norwich will be a tough game. They're a good footballing side. and my big mate John Deans took over as caretaker, so I'm looking forward to seeing him.
Congratulations today, good luck.
Thanks very much indeed.
Well done. Now, Mark Hughes had a mixed afternoon. Superb goal, then he gets sent off. Let's emphasise the goal, shall we?
Certainly. It was a United skill at their best, combined.
It's a classic pass and move. He gets it, the ball's going about quickly. They're all moving. Comes to Hughes, gives it back in, goes for the return. Great hit with his left foot. Kelly a bit unlucky, but all in all a tremendous goal.
Thanks, chaps. It was worth it to see that, I think. Tomorrow evening we have got Millwall against Arsenal for you. For now, cheerio.